Bonjour tout le monde. We're looking at the next series of textbook exercises from both the second part of préliminaire and the third part of préliminaire. In this week of learning, you are going to learn to talk about French words. And you will talk about French words and also learn the grammar that you need to understand. French words will either be masculine or feminine. So that means the words are recognized by a French native speaker as being inherently masculine or feminine. In this lesson, then, we will begin with the words themselves, and then we are going to layer on indefinite articles, which one uses to talk about objects, and in this case, in the classroom. And then we are going to layer on definite articles, which you would also use if you were being more specific, like literally pointing toward the object you're talking about. Or you also use definite articles when you're talking about your studies, which is, I wanted to conquer all of these in one lesson. Even if you don't fully understand it during the first week, I want to get the process of learning about the definite and indefinite articles going this week. Now you may, before you continue watching this Tegrity, you may go into your ebook to the second vocabulary part of préliminaire. And you may start going over the words, just the words themselves, and then come back to this Tegrity. I've also inserted, as part of your textbook learning, this review exercise, which reviews essentially what the book gives you. It gives you an image of une salle de classe, that's a classroom. You notice that sometimes when two words are put together in English, those two words are also put together in French, but in a different order, and with the de, that little particule de in between them. The salle, the room of class, or the classroom, we would say. Donc, la salle de classe. You can go through in your ebook, or you can go through in this little review activity, and just listen and identify. For example, here, if I click on, I would click here. Un tableau. Ça, c'est une fenêtre.
Une chambre. Une chambre.
And you can keep clicking and playing until you start recognizing the words themselves.
Une table.
I would also recommend you do salle de classe 2. And even later, les études and la description. You may notice in this activity assumes you've already gone through and you've either been writing out on a notebook the new words as you listen to them read out to you, or you've gone through and played with these little review activities where you identify. And another step in the learning is to actually use it. So in this activity B, you're using the new vocabulary because you're asking, what is there in my backpack? Dans mon sac à dos, my backpack, what is there? This is a really fun way of learning because you actually are basing your language on your reality. So here's your language now in French. Dans mon sac à dos, open up your backpack. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Now when I say qu'est-ce qu'il y a, that's a question. What is there? And as you can see, all of the answers are coming back with il y a. Il y a means there is. Il y a une calculatrice. Oui ou non? Il y a une affiche. Oui, il y a une affiche? I bet it's no. How many people have une affiche dans le sac à dos? Il y a un examen. Moi, I would put no for this, no for this, no for this. Il y a un crayon. Oui, I have a pencil. So there is a pencil. Il y a un iPod. No, I've never had an iPod. Il y a un baladeur MP3. No. I could say there's an iPhone, mais non for iPod, non for baladeur. Il y a un téléphone portable. Oui. Il y a des marqueurs. Oui. Because I'm a teacher and I always have markers, like marqueurs, or markers for the board. Il y a une agrafeuse? Non. Non. Il y a une gomme? No. In fact, when I think about it, I'm not even sure there's a crayon. I'm really a pen type of gal. And of course, if you were in a classroom, you might use this time to share with people, ask a classmate if the items are in his or her bag. Here, you can make a recording if you want, talking about your bag. This recording process, even if you're doing it by yourself, forces you to go from looking at this information to memorizing it, because here you may record something and say, dans mon sac à dos, il y a, and I would say what, il y a un iPhone, c'est-à-dire, il y a un portable, un portefeuille, that's the word for wallet, un portefeuille, une feuille de papier, that's a piece of paper. What else? Qu'est-ce qu'il y a dans mon sac à dos? Il y a un cahier, un livre, et quoi d'autre? Quoi d'autre? More than one pen. So I would say des stylos, and I would put in an S. Now, notice that if I say il y a un iPhone, there is an iPhone. All I have to do to make it a plural sentence is change the article. We're going to get to that in a little bit, the article itself. From un or une to des, and then I add in an S. Des stylos, il y a des stylos becomes there are pens. Il y a un stylo stays there is a pen. And in most cases you add in an S, with the exception of words like tableau, bureau, they get an X. Dans la salle de classe, il y a des bureaux, for example, et des tableaux. And you can build on this knowledge as well by going back to that lesson in 2 and also learning the numbers 0 à 20. So then you could go back and say, dans mon sac à dos, il y a 2 stylos, un portefeuille, 3 crayons, 4 cahiers et 9 livres or something. Now, I also suggest you would stop right now and you would go back and learn the numbers too. These are activities that you can build into watching tape reading. Okay, so now I've done this activity and then I've gone and learned some of the numbers, and I've given you an activity. Quel numéro le suit? What number follows it? Now that you've gone over your numbers, you would be able to go over this activity. I'm going to press play here.
Vocabulaire 2. Activité 2.
Okay, notice she says the number of the question first. Un. And then she says sept. Now, if you go back, you've at this point gone over the numbers from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you've gone on 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now, the real test, have you kind of gotten the basics down, is this type of activity. So she said sept. So I know I can go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ah, 8. 11. 11. Ah, one of those Z tells me I'm between 11 and 16. 11, 12, that's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
16.
Oh, 16. So 16. Click. 17, 18 would come next. 19. That would be 20. 20. That 20 is a very nasal sound. 20. And it's spelled in a very irregular fashion. V-I-N-G-T. You're not pronouncing anything after the I-N nasal sound. 20. Okay, so I heard deux. So I'm looking 1, 2, 3. 3.
5. 5.
Oh, alors 5. 5. 6.
17.
Ooh, 17. Okay, I see 17, so I should click 18, not 19. 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm just going to play a game here. I'm going to show you each of these words or numbers. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. You can now go on perhaps to okay, now I didn't put too many activities up there. At one point, you are ready for the first leçon de grammaire. So, let's talk about the indefinite article. We've been using it until now to simply do an inventory. And that's really what you use the indefinite for. It counts for you a bit in the sense that you say un or une, which is a, but like in English, it also suggests one. And if you change it from un, une to des, that's des, you make it plural. Now let's look a little bit more into the gendered aspect of it. I only use une in front of a feminine word, and I only use un in front of a masculine. And I use des in front of a feminine or masculine in the plural. Now I'd like to skip over to a little prezi I put together. I'm going to put it in full screen. I'm going to give you a little grammar lesson about masculine or feminine. I want to remind you, every word has a gender in French. That means not just the words we use to talk about people and animals, and which usually we associate with the biological identification of that person as masculine or feminine, male or female. In French, it's not just male or female. It's also a masculin or féminin word, and words get their gender through their appearance as being sounding like a masculine word or sounding like a feminine word. Okay. Now, some words, of course, are just like in English, though. The word is either like a guy or a girl. So obviously a guy is going to be masculine. Un homme, or a woman. Une femme. Or for a girl, we say une fille. That's also like a daughter. We say that for both daughter and also just for a girl. Like, c'est une fille. Un garçon can be both, a boy, or you can also say un garçon, j'ai un garçon. It's like, I have a son. Fille. But you know what? The masculine form that's closer to fille is fils. Fils. I just realized that. For girl, you can say une fille, but that also means daughter. But for a boy, there can be un garçon, but you can also say un fils. I just made that connection. There's two ways to talk about a boy, but just one for a girl. You have some words like étudiant, that was in your second grammar lesson. When you look in the salle de classe, you saw un étudiant et une étudiante. You know that this is a guy, the boy student, because of the un, and then that ending with a T, which means you don't hear the T in how people pronounce words. French will not pronounce the final consonant in most cases. So, un étudiant, that's a guy. That on, just like the un, those are nasal sounds. Nasal sounds are very masculine. Une étudiante. I'm exaggerating the end, but really, you can exaggerate at the beginning. Une, because I have this silent E, the un becomes une, and because I have this silent E here, the étudiant becomes étudiante. And I've also put down a list here. Sometimes you learn a word and you just learn that the feminine variation of friend has an E at the end. Sometimes you learn a word and you see that it's totally respelled in the feminine. Un copain, une copine. Sometimes the word has an E at the end. Un touriste, une touriste. Un collègue, une collègue. Un étudiant, une étudiante. Un nageur, une nageuse. Un acteur, une actrice. Un professeur, une professeure. These are some new words. These are patterns that will help you in some cases learn the words. But in most cases you do at this beginning phase have to just try to learn each word. Don't just fall back on the patterns as like this solves everything, I just add an E. Just learn the words. The patterns are there actually to help your mind. Your mind works better with patterns. Note that un professeur, it used to be that anyone who was a professeur, male or female, was just un professeur. Lately, there's been a movement called feminism, and some women prefer to have their profession, their professional name, une professeure. I actually accept both. Now, let's look at these inanimate objects that are feminine. Here are some patterns to help you. So, words that end like this. Once, la différence, l'évidence, l'exubérance, la conséquence are feminine. Words that end in ion, like la réaction, la division, l'action, une action, tend to be feminine. And you note that in my examples, I'm giving definite articles. We're going to get to that in a bit. La librairie, une librairie, une mairie, une rêverie. Okay, these words, you don't know them yet, but I'm just pointing out that any word that has an I-E ending, most likely, is going to be feminine. La lecture, la voiture, tends to be feminine. Words that end in this E, but it's not an E, it's an E with the accent aigu, so it's like an E when you have that E with the accent aigu, as in le café. These words, except for le café, tend to be feminine. L'université, l'éternité, la liberté, l'égalité, la fraternité. There are exceptions, of course, but let's just get down the basic sounds of masculine now. So, au masculin, words that end in EAU, like le bureau, le drapeau, le tableau. Words that end in isme as well are masculine. So yes, even if it's le féminisme, it's masculin. Words that end in mont, l'appartement, le gouvernement, l'environnement, masculine. And words that end in EUR, as in the new word that you've learned this week, l'ordinateur, tend to be masculine. Also are masculine words that come into the French language from another culture. For example, baklava, a dessert that comes from the Middle East. Opera, or more recently, all of the different Apple products that the French are crazy about. They love them, but unfortunately they're not from France. So Apple, Mac, iPhone, they even say iPhone, iPad, iPod, they're all masculine. Also are masculine are days of the week, months of the year, and foreign languages. L'anglais, le français, le japonais, l'arabe. These are languages, they are masculine. So I've given you this little lecture just to create a structure for you, for understanding. I don't expect you to memorize this. In fact, I expect your minds to memorize this. Never underestimate the power of your mind to memorize words through different patterns of sound that the mind identifies. Your mind will have an easier time categorizing these new words that come to you in masculine and feminine because there are certain patterns of sound. It's not just, flip a coin and decide whether it's masculine or feminine. Okay, I'm going to put this away. Au revoir, Monsieur Prési. And I'm going to continue now with you, learning with this activité, la garderie. It's a daycare center. This activity forces you to kind of do your own guessing, your own guesswork. Having studied at this point the different words, you should be able to go through this and identify. So when you see une, you see table, écran, stylo. Oh, I know this is plural. But I know that only one of these is feminine because I know that it's un écran. Une table. Des, so that's the plural. Oh, I go right to my plural. Des chaises. Une porte. Des crayons, so it must be un examen. Une. This is poster. Une affiche. These are plural books. And this is the blackboard or whiteboard. Tableau. Une affiche. Des des livres. Not une porte, not un crayon. Une horloge. This is plural, écran, and this is un ordinateur. Des marqueurs. Un tableau, un cahier. Non, feuille de papier is feminine. Calculatrice is feminine. Even more so, calculatrice really looks feminine. Un crayon. Voilà, un crayon. Well, this is easy, une poubelle. Not des étudiants or un professeur. Des, well, agrafeuse is feminine. Amis with an S is plural. Oh, so des amis. And this would be un classeur. I want you to notice something. When I say une, or I say un, whatever follows, follows. Une table, une affiche, un livre, un tableau. When I say des, that's the plural. If the word that follows is chaise, nothing changes. Des chaises. Il y a des chaises. But if I say écran, what if I were to say il y a des écrans, or down here, amis? When put together, I create what is called a liaison. Her book is named for it. A linking sound. It's like a z, because the S by itself in French makes more of a z sound. So suddenly it's linking the S to the vowel, des amis. Linking the S to the vowel, des écrans. So let's see. Indicate if this item is typically found in the playroom. Oui, il y a une table dans la garderie. Oui, il y a des chaises dans la garderie. Non, normalement, non. Un examen? Non. Normalement, il n'y a pas d'examen. Oui, il y a des affiches. Il y a une affiche en général dans la garderie. Il y a des livres pour les enfants. Il y a une horloge. Oui, il y a des marqueurs. Oui, normalement, il y a des crayons. Il y a un crayon à la garderie. Il y a une poubelle. Et il y a des amis. Voilà. So now let's continue on. With the second activity. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Now this activity forces you to kind of go over everything you've learned. And if I were in the classroom with you, I would be saying not only qu'est-ce qu'il y a, asking you to kind of do inventory, what is there? I would also be sometimes pointing at objects and saying, qu'est-ce que c'est? Now, qu'est-ce que c'est is a bit different from il y a. The book goes over it somewhere. Hold on, I'm going through this. Here it is. When you identify objects or people, like saying like, oh, what is this? This is, or these are, or it is, you say c'est. That's ce being this or is, with est. C'est. Or if it's plural, ce sont. So I would be saying in that activity that I just jumped from, qu'est-ce que c'est? What is this? And then you may respond, c'est un stylo Mont Blanc. Okay, so I'm going to go back. So numéro 1, qu'est-ce que c'est? And I would say, c'est une fenêtre. Or since it actually looks like there's several window panes, I might say, ah, madame, ce sont des fenêtres. So I'll write it out for you to see. Le numéro 1, I may say, ce sont des fenêtres. Or I may say, just identify it, c'est une fenêtre. Et numéro 2, qu'est-ce que c'est? I've always wondered why they do this in this activity. Numéro 2 points to light, and light isn't one of your words. C'est une lumière. It also points toward the ceiling. We haven't learned the word for ceiling. C'est un plafond. Numéro 3, c'est un tableau. Qu'est-ce que c'est? C'est un tableau. Numéro 4, I cannot tell what it's pointing at, but I'm going to guess c'est une brosse à tableau. I'm assuming it's the little eraser there. Or that maybe they're pointing to... Oh, maybe it's the table. C'est une table. Maybe it's actually the desk. You know, some of these, you can go both ways. It's like a table, but you know, it's also used as a desk. C'est un bureau. Oh, well, there's more than one. So, tac, 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 tac. Ce sont des bureaux. Numéro 5, c'est une porte. But it's a double door. Ce sont des portes. Et numéro 7, 6, 7, c'est une chaise. Oh, I'm mixing up. C'est une chaise. Et numéro 8, I have no idea what wheat is. Seriously. I mean, it would be better if they had an affiche there. And I could say, c'est une affiche. It's actually a wall, but they don't give that to you as a possible definition. But I'm going to say, c'est un mur. Is a wall. By the way, there's a very good movie that came out a few years ago now called Entre les murs, and it's a film in which the filmmaker does, like, really makes a movie based on the conversations he has with children. Oh, children, they're teenagers in a high school classroom in the 19e arrondissement de Paris, and it's called Entre les murs, which is gives a sense of, you know, in the classroom, between the walls, but it also makes reference to theater, which has les trois murs, and when you watch a play, you assume that there's a fourth wall, you assume that your ability to watch is a quatrième mur, that you're able to see through. Anyway, voilà, for the qu'est-ce que c'est un, c'est une, and we're using indefinite articles. But what if we were to use definite articles? How would that change? How would it change if I said to you, qu'est-ce que c'est? And you wanted to use the definite article. The definite article is le, la, or les. I would say, c'est la lumière. For the un, I would say, c'est le plafond. For the table, c'est le table. C'est la brosse à tableau. Here again, c'est la table. Or, what if I said, oh, those are the tables. Ce sont les tables. Ce sont les bureaux. Ce sont la, ou c'est la porte. Ce sont les portes. C'est la chaise. C'est le mur. And you note that if it's a word beginning with a vowel, masculine or feminine, I would do this L apostrophe, this L apostrophe. That's called the elision. So if there were some objects like students, I might say for the guy student, C'est l'étudiant. I would only know it's a guy because I saw the ending is étudiant. And if it's a girl student, I would also say c'est elle apostrophe, because the girl student begins with a vowel. Whether it's a masculine or feminine, it begins with a vowel. I'm doing the élision. C'est l'étudiant. Plural, ce sont les étudiants. The difference between using indefinite and definite in this case is, are you being very specific or not? Is it a chair? Really any old chair. You're just saying that there are chairs or a chair. Or point your finger at it and say, is it the chair? Is it the student? You know, think of how you would sometimes emphasize the students. Oh, those are the students I was talking to you about. Those are the chairs I was looking for in the other room. That's the desk that I want to buy. Imagine you're at a store and you're pointing to, that's the desk, not any old desk, the desk. In these cases, I actually call it the specific article, the point your finger at it article, as opposed to saying, voilà, c'est une chaise, ou il y a une chaise. I'd be, il y a la chaise. You know, there is the chair. So you've got a couple activities that I throw in. I'm going to go over this last. One activity I want to go over now, in the same train of thought, is les possessions. When you form a possession, like that is Mark's book, where in English we do apostrophe S, that's our way. In French, you kind of construct the word, like I was showing you with la salle de classe. So here I would say, this is, c'est, now I start with pen, I reverse the order. C'est le stylo, then I put in this de, this particule de, c'est le stylo de Paul. Here is Marie's stapler. Here is different than it is or this is. With here is, I would say, voici. Voici. Voici la graffeuse de Marie. It's like I'm handing it over to you and I'm saying, here's Marie's stapler. This is John's clock. So I know that I've been learning now to say une horloge. Okay. Sorry to overwhelm you, but the French really, in most cases, treat H as silent because they don't pronounce it. They don't say oh my gosh, I have a cold. Horloge. They say horloge. So it's as if the H is there, but it's not. In the definite, you would say this, l'horloge. It's the same with man, l'homme, or l'humanité, or l'humanisme. So you have l'horloge, and you say, c'est l'horloge de Jean. C'est l'horloge de Jean. L'horloge de qui? Whose? John's. C'est l'horloge de Jean. Here I start with la table de qui? La table de Guy. And it's this is, so I'd say, c'est la table de Guy. If it was here is, I would say, voici la table de Guy. Here is Anne's chair, so I say voici. Now, a lot of people say, what's the difference between voici and voilà? Voici is similar to the word for here, ici. It's like if there's two things, the one closer to me, I'm going to say ici, voici, and the one that's across the street from me, I'm going to say voilà. Donc, voici le café Starbucks, and then across the street is a Panera, et voilà le café Panera. Choose which one you want. Voici la chaise d'Anne. I point to Anne's chair next to me, and then c'est Pierre's chaise is on the other side of the room, et voilà la chaise de Pierre. So here, voici la chaise. Now, would I say de Anne? No. As you may be getting the hang of it, The French like things to flow. They flow by using liaison sometimes, like les enfants, les affiches, des affiches. We saw that when we were taking inventory, and if something was plural, we would say, ah, dans la salle de classe, il y a des étudiants. Il y a des écrans. Il y a des... And here, it's really the same logic, but it's called something different, because instead of making it like des, you say d apostrophe, and then the vowel, Anne. Voici la chaise d'Anne. Now I got 100%, and it's not just because I was right. I want you to know it's also because I used the proper capitalization, and in this activity, I just followed the model exactly, and I see that in the answer that they give in the book, they put in a punctuation point, so I do exactly as the model says. This computer program teaches you to be very detail conscious of how to put in punctuation. If you're filling in another activity that's like more of like a close, that's a fill in the blank, and that punctuation is already in the activity, then you don't have to put it in your answer. Okay, so I like that we're on a roll. That means we've been learning la salle de classe. And I thought, let's just throw in les études as well. In a more superficial way, I wanted to also introduce the third vocabulary. Kind of, we're on a roll. We've learned un, une, des, and now le, la, les. I wanted to throw in another use of the definite article, which I call the abstract use. When you're talking about studies, when you're talking about what you like or what you're pursuing as a career, you're going to talk more in abstract terms, like I study biology. I like biology. Biology is fascinating. Well, in this case, you're talking about biology wherever it is in the world. It's the concept of biology that you study. It's the concept of journalism and the art of writing and the practice of journalism. It's music in general. So in this case, as we learn different subject matters, we learn them with the definite article, which in this case I call the abstract article. So, le commerce, l'art, all of these you can also stop this integrity, go to your book, in your book, practice listening to the display and vocabulaire trois with the with nice little hyperlinks, the audio links, and then start quizzing yourself. Use the technology of the book to learn. And then I put in this activity, for example, dans un cours d'histoire, on étudie, so this is telling you, so in an economics course, one studies the stock market. In a history course, dans un cours d'histoire, what does one study? Does one study the administration, la gestion, l'actualité, les éléments chimiques, la rotation des planètes, les événements historiques? I would say les événements historiques, although one talks about l'actualité also, because the whole point of history is to link it to what's going on today. Dans un cours d'astronomie, on étudie la rotation des planètes. I'm doing this for you so you hear my pronunciation. You have to go back and kind of wrestle with the new vocabulary through your own way of learning, writing things out, listening to the words and writing them out, listening to the words and repeating them. I had one student who listened, tape recorded, that's an obsolete word, used an app to record her voice and then listen to her voice reading the words. Dans un cours d'économie, on étudie, I guess you could say on étudie la gestion. La gestion is kind of like management, administration. Dans un cours de physique, on étudie ouais, pour la physique, oh, je dirais pas, dans un cours de physique, on étudie les réactions nucléaires. Dans un cours de journalisme, on étudie l'actualité. Now you'll notice that a lot of these words are cognates. It means they share a common Latin root, and you can just guess, oh, astronomie, i.e. is really astronomy with a Y, like what I know. Economie, they say economie, we always say economics. But sometimes words are cognates, but you don't even really understand it because they have diverged. So it's almost like they're friends, but kind of false friends. Actuality, if you say to someone, I'm watching the actuality, they're going to say, what are you talking about? L'actualité in French is like current events. Dans un cours de chimie, on étudie les éléments chimiques. So there are several activities that kind of push you to use these new words for la spécialisation. In all of them, you see people using le, la, and les. Even, oh, this is one that you could say. Ask 3 people what their classes are. What are your cours? So maybe you may say, ce semestre, les cours sont le français, la comptabilité, et l'économie. A lot of you may be taking, for example, nursing, les soins infirmiers, n'est-ce pas? La biologie, l'anatomie, et bien sûr, le français. Yay! So you can use this space to practice and get feedback. I also put in, I put in a little film, and it's a film where you see Claire. Okay, I don't like every chapter of this film, but I do like the first chapter because you see Claire. There's this first strange scene in Paris, and then you see Claire à une université, l'université de McGill, je crois. Donc, she's in a university in Montréal or Quebec. Well, I should have researched that. Either way, the signs you see are all bilingual. And you're going to hear some talk in a more academic atmosphere, and it kind of gets you going for the third part of this chapter, whose vocabulary lesson is what we're looking at this week. We're just learning new words for objects in the classroom and for studies. Like, what do you study? You can go over nouns again and definite and indefinite objects in these 2 RB. I don't know why they call them RB. I'll probably figure it out after I turn off this integrity. They are 2 tutorial lessons that you can click on. You can continue to go over your different activities here. I'd like to just now draw attention to the last 3 activities, 2H, 2I, and 2K. These are the objects, like you hear in this one activity. Oh, voilà. Je vais acheter is great because you have a guy talking. He's saying, I'm going to buy. And you're just listening for the definite or indefinite article, rather. So when you hear him say, je vais acheter une, and you say agrafeuse, again, we're testing your ability to use the right. So, for example, I'm going to play it.
Grammaire 2. Activité H. Je vais acheter modèle. You hear? Je vais acheter une. You see? A. Agrafeuse. B. Livre. C. Stylo. You select? A. Je vais acheter
Un cahier.
2. Je vais acheter des
Stylo.
3. Je vais acheter
Calculatrice. Une calculatrice.
4. Je vais acheter
C'est pas une brosse.
5. Je vais acheter Je vais acheter
Des cahiers.
je vais acheter
Téléphone portable. Not une horloge.
je vais acheter
Gomme. Okay, so these are ways to keep testing your knowledge. Then you go on to this. Trois objets. It's in the same spirit. If you could take 3 objects with you to class, or you could buy 3 objects, what would they be? I want you to go buy some things. Haha, not real, pretending. La Fnac. You just have to do www.fnac.com. You can see that this is a great store. Oh la la, MacBook, iMac. Qu'est-ce que vous allez acheter? You can go to the billetterie and get tickets to go to a concert. You can get cadeau, photo, smartphone, casque, so different types of earphones, son, TV, photo, informatique, music, DVD. You can see that technology is taking over everything. But there's also a papeterie. If we keep looking, every year it gets harder and harder to find a papeterie. Oh my goodness, it's like paper's disappearing from our society. It used to be, it was one of like the big, let's see, papeterie. Okay, well at least I'm in the papeterie here. I see the different types of books. BD and manga, for those who like anime. Scolaire. Alors, scolaire. You can find all kinds of maps. So maybe you want to buy a cahier. Un cahier d'exercice. Oh, you know, it's just getting harder and harder to find paper. I think they've gotten rid of that part of their business. Oh, cahier et bloc-notes. What? Oh, here I am, finally. So I want you to just play around, because this is like a real authentic source of French products. And pretend you're buying from the accueil, livre, papeterie, cahier. You see all the different types of French cahier. Cahier petit carreau, that means like it has a little grid on it. Les classeurs, du papier, ou des post-it. Des feuilles de papier. Des protège-documents, des classeurs. So just kind of go in the panier. But of course, maybe you don't want to go into livre. Maybe you want livre numérique. Or maybe you really want to get a tablet. Have fun, because you're not actually going to buy this stuff. But think of 3 objects that you want, or 3 objects that you want to buy. For example, maybe you need une tablette. You say, oh là là, voici une tablette tactile Samsung, très très bien notée. Je vais ajouter à mon panier. Voir mon panier. Et j'ai aussi besoin un DVD. Ah, je veux... Non, non. Voilà. Oh, je veux précommander un DVD Rebel Heart. Un CD plutôt, non? Voir mon panier. So now you'll be able to talk about les 3 objets. Les 3 objets sont une tablette Samsung, un CD Rebel Heart de Madonna, and maybe I also need, I liked those cahiers that I would see, un cahier, mes 3, voilà. So you're going to now go to the discussion board and share what your 3 objets are. Une tablette, un CD, un cahier. And then the idea is that you respond to what other people are doing. For example, maybe someone would look at me and say, Madame Dumont, they may not find that I'm very practical at all. They may find that I'm a bit extravagante. She just goes and buys a tablet. Madame Dumont est extravagante parce que ces 3 objets sont une tablette, un CD et un cahier. Une tablette, you may be more specific, like la tablette Samsung, blah 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 blah, or le CD de Madonna. Or they may say le cahier, you know, either way, un cahier, une tablette, un CD de Madonna. Je suis extravagante, n'est-ce pas? I would be much more practical if I simply refilled my pencils and markers and crayon supply. And maybe original if I was getting some really offbeat French artists and philosophers and stuff like that. Anyway, you get the idea. Once again, I want you guys to play in an interactive way with the new knowledge that you have. And so you're going to essentially do this activité M, à acheter. Write a list of things and then try to go buy them on La Fnac. And good luck if you can do it under $20. It'll probably be plus, beaucoup plus cher. Voilà. Alors, bon courage. And if you need to, you should go back to the discussion board to see how everyone else is participating. And you should play around on La Fnac to learn some new words just by using the images. And you should also look for I'm going to put up this PowerPoint in your learning modules, which goes over the information that I have covered from Grammaire, part of Grammaire 3, and all of Vocabulaire 3 and Grammaire 3 of the chapitre préliminaire. Je vous souhaite alors très bon courage, and I suggest that you take the time to do this week's work in intervals of 30 minutes. You shouldn't try to bite off everything in one